Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This weekend, the Formula One circuit heads back to Europe, to the Spanish Grand Prix, which is held on the outskirts of Barcelona, which is in the northeast of Spain. It's a very important race, perhaps the most important of all. After the mad scramble, which has been all the pre-season testing and the first 4 flyaway races, this represents the first chance for all the teams to take a breath. Team members and team personnel will actually get a chance to spend some time with family, a little bit of R&R before we push on to the long European season. And because it's back in Europe, it's a lot closer to the home bases of the teams, and that means that this race has always been earmarked as a race to bring lots of updates. So that means if you've had a terrible pre-season or first 1 or 2 races and you have a dog of a car, this represents the best chance to bring almost like a B-spec car to the actual circuit to try and improve your performances. So which teams should benefit the most? Well, namely, it's always the teams that are not running at full potential, namely the teams that are not winning. Now, that doesn't mean Mercedes are not going to try and bring some updates. So even though they're winning, they will always, like any other Formula One team, keep pushing to try and improve. So they'll be bringing updates for all parts of the car. Now, that just means that they have got a luxury, though. Because they're winning and they've got such a big performance advantage, they have the luxury of not rushing anything. That means they won't put anything on the car that's going to at all maybe hurt their reliability. And that is a luxury that cannot be stressed as much. I mean, for the rest of the teams, they're going to be like this, trying to get the updates there and getting everything working. Now, we saw the last race, Ferrari finish on the podium. But I think they still need a lot of work. I think they're lacking in all areas of the car. Powertrain, the aerodynamics, drag, mechanical grip. They need to improve in all areas. So I expect a very big update from them this year at Barcelona, shall we say. It's going to be a very important race for them. They know they're losing about a second a lap, maybe even a second and a half on some of the big, longer power circuits. So this is very important for them to get right. Let's not forget the Alonso factor. He's always brilliant at Spain, so he might be able to squeeze out something out of that car that no one else can. But if they don't have, their updates don't work this weekend, they're in for a very, very long year indeed. Now, Red Bull actually look in a lot better shape. The chassis is actually in pretty good form. We've seen it, all the tight and twisty bits and fast and flowing bits of all the races so far, that they're actually pretty quick. Actually, as quick, even faster than the Mercs in some places. Where they're lacking is straight line speed. And that's really down to powertrain. Now, frustratingly for them, they are not an engine supplier, so it's not really in their hands. It's really going to be down to Renault to try and improve and make that power unit better. They are planning a lot of upgrades for this circuit. And if they can run anywhere near full potential, they should be a lot closer. Now, because the inside story is actually the Renault engine is pretty good. The powertrain is good. They just can't run at full potential. So we'll be very keen to see what happens there. Also, add to the fact that in Barcelona, it's not a big power track. It's not like the 4 tracks before it, or it's less of a power track. I mean, every track is a power track, but this is less of a power track than the first 4 races we've seen. So we could actually see Red Bull a lot closer, maybe even challenging for the win. We'll see. Who else will be there? Okay, out of the big 4 teams, the one that's been the shocking so far has been Lotus. Lotus had a very good year last year. They had over 90 points by this time last year. Right now they have 0. And while they're in the same boat as Red Bull, that the fact that Renault can bring a lot of updates, it will help the performance, their car also needs a lot more work, and they'll be under big pressure to try and improve. As they said at the very beginning of the year, after they saw how bad a pre-season they had, their season for them basically begins here at Barcelona. So they're obviously planning a lot of updates this weekend. Now, for the rest of the teams, let's say pretty much all the other teams will be in pretty much the same boat, bringing serious updates, working on the chassis side, and obviously working very closely with the engine partners to try and make their power unit strong. The only other team I can think of which is really performing below its potential is Sauber. Sorry, there's another team actually. I think Caterham can push up as well. They've got potential to go better as well. But let's get back to Sauber. Sauber's a very obvious problem. They've said in the press that their car is just too heavy. And that's a big problem. Then you're carrying down that extra weight, and it seems to be as much as 10 kilos in Adrian Sutil's case. That's a good 0.3 of a second a lap. So it's a big deal. So they're bringing a whole new chassis, and if they can get under that weight limit, we should see a big improvement of performance from Sauber. But anyway, let's see what happens this weekend. We'll see what really is the truth come Saturday in qualifying. All right, that's all for me from now. Bye-bye.